I thought to start my remarks, where did Bob go? I want to start with Bob's remarks. That he said he believes that we are all people of compassion, and I saw a lot of people in the crowd nodding yes, that was the case. Because I think we need to remember that there's good people, good humans, good hearts here. I heard a lot of accusations as though that's not the case. And so if we truly believe that everybody involved is without a heart and without compassion, then we're going to have a really hard time proceeding. But if we can remember that there are good people, good humans, they're just looking for good answers and a good solution. So I appreciate you saying that. Then I think we have a chance. Linda, you asked, what would Jesus do? I think that's a really fair question. And so I started to scribble notes as to what I think Jesus would do. And I think that Jesus would hire 3 homeless service advocates in our police department. I think Jesus would lead out and be the first of its kind medical advocate program in the state of Utah by having a paramedic at Ogden Fire Department. I think Jesus would provide homeless court services through the Justice Court in the shelter. I think Jesus would host the largest shelter per capita in the state of Utah. I think Jesus would implore us to participate in the Weber Morgan Local Homeless Council. As was mentioned and supported by Taylor, I believe that, yeah, in my administration, we are participating. We do that with all of our homeless service advocates and Mayor Brown, our CAO. I think Jesus would encourage us to participate in the Code Blue Task Force, both with our homeless service advocates and our CAO. Encourage us to work with the county and the county commission, who has the ultimate authority in state statute to provide for that service. I think he would encourage us to provide support from our planning division and our fire marshal to be actively looking to this day for a location for a warming center. I think Jesus would implore us to support the Ogden Housing Authority's Solace Project. Jesus would implore us to provide $500,000 to YCC for a new shelter. Provide almost $74,000 to the Roads to Independence to support disabled projects and needs. Provide support to the Lantern House, help with cleanups. Provide compassionate care, compassionate enforcement, and accountability through our Ogden Police Department. Locate the medical service advocate there and provide safety for our HSAs and our community police while we're doing it. I think that we have, that's just what's off in the top of our head, you guys. That's what Jesus would do, and that's what Ogden's doing. And we're talking to each other like we're doing nothing. We are doing a lot. We're punching way above our weight. And we are recognized for that at the state level because it matters. It does. There's no disagreeing with that. It matters. So as we have this conversation, let's ask ourselves, what would Jesus do? And let's remember what Ogden is doing as well. It's not nothing. Can we do more? Of course. Will we do more? Absolutely. Starting with getting to Jackie's other question. She had a concern. She wants to know that we're asking the questions and have the information that we need to make good decisions. I agree. That's what we're trying to do. I talked about the projects in the past. It's been a real challenge because there was a dynamic. And I'm not pointing fingers when I say this. Okay? But it's really hard to get anything done when we are communicating through the property ombudsman, when we're getting information through grandma requests instead of just a free flow of information with each other. That's back then, okay? We're trying to turn the page across the board. I will say this openly and honestly and unabashedly, that one dynamic in this county and in this city that has always held us back is that we don't all get along across political jurisdictions. And that can be a really toxic dynamic. It keeps us from succeeding. We've got to have partners at the council, in the administration, in our county commission, in our state legislature, in our congressional delegation. Everybody needs to be focused on the betterment of our communities. When we have that dynamic, we have better outcomes for our cities and our towns. When we don't have that, we are limited based on what we're able to do all alone. We've suffered the consequences of that for years. I see a lot of people nod their heads because we all have experienced it. It has been hard. We only have so much energy to give, and it would be a real shame if we're giving all of our energy to negative fighting, okay? But there do come times that you've got to feel like you've got to stand up. I get that. This has been one of those projects that has elicited that because we haven't been able to turn that page, right? So in all those other projects, we have turned that page. I know we can. We have to. That's all we're asking for. No one has said outright no. No one voted no and that didn't turn this thing down. But we are absolutely on our way to a better way. I know it. I know we can do it. Because everybody involved had good people with good hearts, remember? That's where I'm trying to get us to as a city across the board. This has no doubt been the hardest one. I have, in personal experience, watched this council maintain a strong sense of grace and good faith and a willingness to participate. I'm thankful for that. I've had some really productive conversations today with county leaders, and they want the same because they've experienced the same in other projects. It can happen because we are making it happen. It's not idle, like it's real. We don't have to hold back progress in other projects in order to get what we want on one. We can make sure that every single project rests on its laurels by itself. We can decouple those decisions. We don't have to be transactional. Our goal is to be transformational, including this project and including for the lives of those that are affected. I can't remember who it was that made the point, but we can't be here calling people with disabilities drug addicts and criminals. We can't make that assumption. If that's what's been portrayed, that I don't think that's anybody's intent. I think we do need to recognize the fact that drugs have swept our nation. Fentanyl has absolutely swept our nation. There is no city or town or state that's immune to it. There's no person immune to it either. So I do think that it's a very relevant question, disabled or not. I also believe, and it struck me in the conversation today, that I think for those that are housed in this project, we owe it to them to make sure that we are screening those people that they live near and with as well. Because they've got to have a chance for success in these housing units as well. Screening in terms of drug and violence, etc. And so we're not just asking, hey, who's using this home and how do we make sure they don't commit crimes outside the facility? I think we also need to be making sure that we're not housing people alongside extremely vulnerable population that could hurt them, right? These are the kinds of things that we want to talk about. That's all. We want to look at some other locations. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But there are elements of this project that maybe we can improve if we just work together, okay? That's what I'm committing to do. That's what I've actually seen the council commit to do. And I think that it's in good faith. And I actually think that the pressures that have been created because of this project is going to get us there eventually. There were pressures on parking at one point, but we're breaking through that. Sometimes it takes pressure to break through. So be it. Okay? That's why we all have a mic. Sometimes for a minute and a half, sometimes for 3. Because this ought to be the place of last resort. If you can't get your voice heard, that's what this was for. But the most productive place is at the table. Okay? So years have gone by of us suffering the consequences of our own infighting and not being able to get along. It's cost us long enough. The reason I am so committed to answering all these questions is to make sure that we don't suffer the same consequences as we have from the past. Ogden's done with it. That means we're done with projects happening to us. We're done with not having the decision-making authority that we know we deserve. We're done not being at the table. This is Ogden City demanding a seat at the table. It's not Ogden City demanding no or saying no. But it is Ogden City putting its foot down after it's happened many, 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 many times in the past. We're tired of it. We are at the table, and we are at big time tables now, you guys, as a city. We're at tables that we always wanted to be at because of work that's been done in the past and current. Work that builds on everything that everybody's been doing. I share all that because there's a lot more at stake than just this project and just those that are looking to be housed, although that is significant. And that's why I am committed to trying to find answers and solutions. It's not my decision to make alone. That's not how those governments are set up. It's for a reason. I don't have unilateral authority in most of the things I do. So we all have to find a way to get to a place where we're comfortable with this project, whether it's in the current location or a different one, or if it's in working with the housing authority